We did it. We did the light link and we're back. It may have tuned or zoned you out a little bit. So I invite you to rub your hands together, shake them out, roll your shoulders, build some energy up, get jazzed a little bit, take a couple breaths, and just continue to sink into all of these amazing videos and this content that's in here. Just in watching these videos, you are going to come through, you'll notice an entire shift in your body. You're going to feel more in sync, right? Like just movement and energy, that buzz, so to speak, that we get, because this is potent stuff. We are going in and working with things that you haven't paid attention to before, and it's exciting. It's really exciting. So that being said, we are queuing up now, or I should say what I'm queuing up now for you and going to tune into are some more of the mechanics. And again, the mechanics are here because it is so critical in my mind that you trust yourself, that you trust the signals, that you understand what is coming through. That is everything. And it really, like, I want you to know yourself in a feminine way, to know these feminine aspects and traits and how to control it, how to be in sync with it, how to make the most of it so that you're feeling juicy. So these mechanics, while they may seem redundant, it may, there's going to be a lot of videos built into them. I invite you to not feel compelled to do them all at once. I think that could blow out your energy system potentially. But if you're feeling really brave and adventuresome, go for it. You're going to find there's different times in which I'm either working on them in the weekly classroom or not, and I may refer you back into the program to look for them. So this video is the one that is going to give you the overview of what we're working with and working on, and then the rest are all here pretty much from this point forward, are here for you for support to understand how and the different structures, if you will, that we're working on in spiritual embodiment coaching. So you've learned the light link. Love the light link. That is the fundamental, that's the foundation of every active meditation that we do, because we have to tune the radar, so to speak. We have to make sure our energy is looking where we want it to go. Any of those times you've ever had an off meditation or felt like some conflicting signals were coming in, it's because that light link wasn't there. It was because you are still pulling information and feeds from some other energies that you've absorbed or said. Your mind is like programmed to take those energies in, so to speak. And that's the part that we're cleaning up. Those are the energies we get to clean up as we go through this program. So a couple of critical components, or I should say 4 aspects that we're going to be looking at as we move through this spiritual embodiment coaching work. Again, if you don't want to do any of the videos from here out, that's fine, because what we do in the weekly classes is at different points in time touching on each of these components. It's giving you that one-on-one schooling, like that work. But if you're the type that likes to just go through a program and jam it out and really get the full picture so that you can go deeper in our classwork, like, go for it. Go through the videos that are here and make the most of it. That being said, the first element we are looking at is your radar. What are the energy centers that constitute your radar? They are your triple warmer, meaning triple warmer will be one of the main energy systems that interferes with your ability to understand and interpret your own inner world. Triple warmer is the energy system that gives you the power to lift a car off of someone who's stuck under it, or run from a bear at 1,000,000 miles an hour and never get caught and survive. And also, triple warmer goes off when your boss sends you an email that is maybe a little bit offensive, or taps into, like, says something that kind of doesn't really cross a line, but kind of like it triggers you in some way. Triple warmer goes off. It doesn't care. It doesn't care how big the threat is or how small the threat is. It has the same response. So understanding when you go into triple warmer reactivity and when you don't is everything, because if you're having trouble connecting in, it's because triple warmer is turned on. And so there are videos in here that teach you very easily how to turn it off. It's literally like a light switch. It's incredible how simple it is, and yet how much it impacts us in a negative way when we aren't aware of it. The next one we're going to be looking at is the aura within your radar. Aura, everybody kind of has a general picture of that. I want you to know your aura. I want you to feel it. Maybe some of you see other people's aura. Maybe some of you are like, what is Kari talking about? You're going to know by the time we're done with aura. It is the energy system. When you're feeling depressed and down, guess what? Your aura is collapsed like a raisin. When you're feeling alive and full of life and like you can rock the world, it's because your aura is big and it's expansive. It has this amazing thing called a smart filter on it. We want that smart filter tuned to not be absorbing energy, but to be bouncing energy off, so that the only stuff that's coming in is stuff that you have consciously chosen, instead of right now, for the most part, everybody's auras are kind of tuned to take it all in, because again, as I've said multiple times throughout this program, that's what we're trained and conditioned to do. So aura is going to be our next piece. Another piece, I can show you this one right now. I'm not going to stand up, but my lower hand is just below my belly button. Other hand is here. This is the hookup. Hookups are everything, because we can trip over the curb, literally, and it can cause our feed of energy from our governing and our central meridian to become unstable, right? And there really is no rhyme or reason to any of this. It can be the email from the boss. It can be triple warmer being in reactivity that'll turn it off. But when we're not hooked up, it's like we're not plugged into the wall. One of the main things we are learning to do in this program is go from being the little iPhone charger in the wall to being that big, here we go, that big outlet. Have you ever looked at what's behind your stove? As you're progressing through this program, you're going to be shifting from this up to this. And if you go into Priestess, it's going to be like, boom. You're going to be all current and all action and all energy. It's amazing. So that being said, that's what it's all about. We want you to have that awareness. That hookup is the first piece of that, what I like to call, which is the next center I'm going to talk about, our feminine integration channel. This isn't actually a specific energy center in the body, meaning, we know through Chinese medicine and all the energy medicine that's out there, we have meridians, we have chakras, we have a grid, we have all these different foundational pieces that are really in Chinese medicine that are very well documented. It's what acupuncture, acupressure, all of energy medicine is based on these. But what I've come to find is that there is an integration channel, so to speak, a current of energy that moves through the body in conjunction with all of these. And it's kind of the energy that influences our actual physical tissues and our emotions. It's the energy that our physical body structure, that's DNA, is vibrating in. And it flows like a current or a river through the body. For the most part, we all have really strong masculine energy channels. Everybody has that dialed in, because you got it. In order to survive, you have to have it. If you experience a lot of stress and overwhelm, it means that masculine energy channel is like taxed out and it's kaput. It's needing some support. The feminine energy channel is the one that we really focus on here. And as we get all of these pieces online, you're going to feel just that current coming up and through the body. So I keep looking at my notes, which is why I'm glancing beyond the camera. Make sure I got them all. Okay, and that's it. We're also going to, that's it, I should say, for your radar. Those are the elements that we're focusing on that are about tuning in and impact directly your ability to receive those internal messages. From there, we go from what allows us to see the messages, your radar, to the actual centers, the processing centers. And I spoke into this in one of the first videos. Those processing centers are the pieces of you that actually are receiving or not receiving those energies of the feminine or masculine. So these 6 different centers that we're going to focus on are either tuned in too masculine, or they're burdened by it in some way, they feel dense and heavy, we're going to pop those open and teach them to align to the feminine vibration as well. What this does, it helps your energy feel light. It takes off all of the gunk that you experience from everything you've absorbed throughout the course of your lifetime. So those 6 processing centers are essential to getting you in a space where you feel really comfortable with taking a load off and not panicking or feeling shame or guilt, and being in a space of knowingness that things are going to get done and things are going to show up the moment you just step back and allow for the universe to come in and support you. I want you to feel comfortable in doing that. I want you to feel confident in doing that. I invite and welcome in this space where you trust it implicitly and you know yourself, because you know when you're in masculine and you're pushing and going, which by the way isn't always bad when it's able to be balanced with this other piece. So the 6 centers are, just real quickly, we're going to look at here, the mind and the emotions that are associated with that. We're going to look at the throat and the emotions associated with that. We're going to look at the heart and the emotions associated with that. We are going to look at our liver and our pancreas and the emotions that they carry in that general vicinity. I'm pointing to them and you can't see them, but I'll keep talking into it anyway. Then we're going to look at your adrenals and how well they function and process. And then last but not least is your whole lower foundation, that whole pelvic region, which encompasses some of the kidneys, some of your reproductive organs. There's a lot, oftentimes this is, when I get into this energy center, the symbols I see here are like it's walled out, it's bricked out, meaning there is just a lot of density that we carry because we've been too exhausted or we've been overwhelmed. So we're going to literally break all those energies down so that you feel light, you feel free, your body can move and just do what it needs to do. So 2 more elements. There is the element of goddess work in this program as well. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these in the actual weekly classroom because I have the podcast. I invite you to tune in when you're out for a walk or whenever you maybe get into listening to different things. I invite you to tune in to the Feminine Influencers podcast, which I will say may be shifting over to the Priestess podcast in the near future. The Feminine Influencers podcast is the pieces that I invite you to focus on most specifically. I call it the Feminine Influencers podcast because we can tune into those aspects, that energy of the goddesses, the divine feminine, all the different archetypes that I've spoken into, and I really break it down as to what each of them is at least the ones that are queued up for the energy that we're all experiencing in this stage and in this time in our lives, so that you can begin to break it down. And of course, we have a lot more going by when we're talking about the goddess, which means she's wanted to come in and clear out plenty of energy. The last piece that we get to work with and focus on in this, that you'll see the videos for, are card reading, fun, playful things, pendulum, all of that sort of thing. Why are those important? Because those actually, the cards we do, the pendulums, all of those things are different playful ways that you can get in and play and learn the symbolism and really, as you're playing, begin to interact with what makes sense for you. They teach, as we learn to play with cards and some of those other elements of the fun videos that I have in here, they really help us go into those deeper layers to understand on the collective level what the archetypes are, what the symbols are, what the cycles and circumstances are that are playing out. You're going to be blown away because guess what? It's always right. The cards are always on track. And I invite you to not feel shamed or like concerned. Not shamed wasn't the word. Concerned is the word I'm looking for as you're tuning into those, because sometimes you may get a death card, or you may get, something that seems like fear-based or whatever else. The reality is that's not speaking into your death or that something really bad is going to be coming down the pike, but that aspects of your internal psyche are awakening and you get to learn how to let go of them in another human way there might have been a part of you that would have been afraid of that. But as you learn to build and you're progressively moving forward, you start to welcome those things in. You look forward to those opportunities because it means that all the hard work you're doing, that's your finish line. When we hit that death cycle or some of those cycles that embody fear, it means we're crossing the finish line. We've completed that marathon and we get to move into the next cycle of the evolution of our soul. So that's it. We have the goddess work that you can tune into and pay attention to in the podcast. There are going to be some questions and just self-reflection that I'm going to plug into the classroom. We have the 6 centers as well as your radar. And then lastly, the fun stuff, the cards, all that the goofy stuff that is amazing to sit down and play with and get into with girlfriends and people in this community and everything else. So I invite you, as you feel called to it, to digest the videos based on that, as opposed to feeling like you need to just go through and work your way out with all of these. Namaste. So much love. I will see you in all of the training videos and in our weekly class.